Hi, I'm Karen Wolf, and I want to talk about this idea of husbanding your own feminine. So, all women and all men have both a feminine and a masculine energy inside of us. The feminine is the emotions, it's like the river or stream, the wind, it's the creativity, it's the receptivity, it's the yin, and it's sort of the color within the frame of life. And the masculine is the structure, the banks that the river flows within, the frame that the picture is held inside, the presence or consciousness that witnesses all of existence, the loving parent that holds space for the child's tantrum. And so the feminine and the masculine are within both of us. And as a woman, I have found this very interesting dynamic tension between holding my own feminine. So when I am having a big emotion, being able to, as Clarissa Pinkola Estes in Myths of the Wise Woman puts it, stand in my own danger. She talks about that danger is sort of a space around you that is a protective space around you, and can we stand in our own danger? And she talks about the hardening of the bark of trees, and if they don't harden through the winter, then they die. That there's this naivety as women that we have to let go of. We have to let go of this idea of the Prince Charming coming and sweeping us off of our feet in order to hold ourselves. So the dynamic tension in terms of holding my own feminine is this idea of holding myself, allowing for the hardening, not the hardening of my heart, but the sort of a buttressing of my ego and my ability to hold myself and to trust myself and stand tall and stand firm. And the tension between that and allowing myself the natural inclination as someone with a feminine essence to desire to surrender, to let another person be the one to hold the container. And so I'm talking here in particular about relationships. So to allow my partner to be the container, to allow myself to have a tantrum with him, and to trust him. So in some of the practices that I do there with feminine and masculine sexual polarity, the feminine practices saying to the masculine, I trust you, I'll follow you anywhere. And so I've been thinking about this lately, that tension between, in a real relationship, not the relationship within you, but in the relationship outside of you, to be able to look at my partner and say, I trust you, I'll follow you anywhere, and yet to stand in my own danger as well. To be sovereign in myself as a woman, to not be naively opening myself in a way that gives my power away, and yet to not also go into a sort of overly self-protective, where I'm then taking the internal masculine and not allowing myself to sort of reveal and surrender to my partner. So I've been really thinking about this tension between those two lately. So one of the ways that comes up is around how we want to be loved. What are the things that actually make us feel loved and accepted and held? So I'm leading a workshop next week, February 19th, and if you're watching this past that, then we may lead workshops in the future. And in it, we'll be talking about the 10 ways that you love to be loved. So kind of like creating a manual, an instruction manual for how to be loved. But I was thinking, and to give it to people actually, or to give it to potential partners or your partner and say, you know, I really get filled up when you praise me, or I love to be loved by being served when you make me dinner or wash my car, or I love to be loved by just being acknowledged for the work that you see me doing or for who I am. There's so many ways to be loved. But I've been thinking about it in terms of that like myself holding my own feminine as a woman, standing in my own danger, being willing to trust the external masculine, but first and foremost, trusting my internal masculine to hold the ways that I want to be loved for myself. So to know for me that I want to, and I need to, appreciate myself. That is a way that I feel loved. And so can my own internal masculine then give that to my own internal feminine, not as a way of shutting off the possibility of getting that from a man in my life, but rather to come whole, to come as a whole person to a relationship. So I just love this idea of sort of husbanding your own feminine and how to do that in a way where you're still really practicing surrender, just that dynamic tension between when am I looking into my partner's eyes and saying, I trust you, I'll follow you anywhere, and when am I looking into his eyes and saying, right now I'm standing in my own danger and I'm holding my own masculine, and I'm holding my own feminine right now, because I can see that she needs to be held in a way that only I know how to hold her right now. So I would love to hear your comments and questions about that dance between sort of surrendering to another and being a sovereign in yourself as a woman without being hardened off from another, inappropriately hardened off rather, but to have healthy boundaries and to let your own feminine say to your own masculine, this is how I want to be loved. These are the ways that I love to be loved, and internal masculine, can you do that for me? So thank you so much for joining me, and please leave your questions and comments below. Thanks. Bye-bye.